dance. And it was amazing, really. Joyce saw this as an incredible piece of behavior, and this kind of clanking of the ones that had tusks, and this wrapping of trunks together and bellowing. You can see with their mouths open there. You know, this family hadn't been torn apart by years of war. It had been bonded together. And so we got some insight into these elephants through this experience. And interesting that they won. They also realized that in the end we weren't so bad, I think, because they started to allow us to get closer to them more frequently, and we had some other incredible encounters.
VOA, exploring the world around us. Welcome to English at the Movies, where we teach you American English heard at the movies. Today's phrase is come to your senses from the movie Rock Dog. Bodhi is a big dog, a Tibetan Mastiff. One day, a radio falls from the sky and he hears rock and roll music. That is when he decides to become a musician. But this is not the career his father wants for him. Let's take a look. Watch for the phrase, come to your senses.
Dad, I decided to become a musician.
You're not going to be a musician, Bodhi. You're going to be a guard. Now, when you've come to your senses, you're going to march down here, and you're going to hand over that noisemaker, and we're going to pretend this never happened. Agreed? I'll take your silence as a yes.
So what does that mean, come to your senses? To think reasonably or to come home? Listen again and see if you are correct.
Dad, I decided to become a musician.
You're not going to be a musician, Bodhi. You're going to be a guard. Now, when you've come to your senses, you're going to march down here, and you're going to hand over that noisemaker, and we're going to pretend this never happened. Agreed? I'll take your silence as a yes.
Come to your senses means to think reasonably. Your five senses are hearing, seeing, smell, taste, and touch. But in this example, senses means using all five to do the right thing or to think clearly. Bodhi's father thinks his son has lost his senses because he dreams of being a musician. And that is not the normal career for a dog. And that is English at the Movies. I'm Ann Ball.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is Motor Week. Join us for a Hades of a ride in the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. Pat Goss has the word on how to make your treads last longer. Brian Robinson goes two-wheeling on a Honda with a retro vibe. And Mazda adds more than just a hardtop to the MX-5 Miata. So come drive with us next.
Motor Week, television's original automotive magazine.
We've all heard the numbers and seen the hype videos. The Dodge Challenger SRT Demon with its 840 horsepower Hellcat engine will do the quarter in 9.65 seconds while hitting 60 in just 2.3. But as with most cars, there's more here than just numbers. So come along to the dark side with us as we do some down and dirty deeds with the Demon. The 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon is one of those cars that you think is only possible in a dream. Fortunately, the hard-working folks at Dodge's Street and Racing Technology Division are more than just dreamers. They actually made this drag strip-worthy beast happen. It seems implausible with all of the hype surrounding it, but the Demon was actually developed mostly in secret. Engineers going cloak and dagger and even working on their own time until they knew they had something the brass would devour. We all know the basics for more horsepower, more air, and more fuel to react with it. But cranking the Hellcat 6.2-liter Hemi V8 up to 840 horsepower and 770 pound-feet of torque required a lot of work, a few more revs, and 100-octane fuel. On premium-grade gas, it's a mere 808-horse ride. Such output also demanded cranking the supercharger up to 14.5 psi to shove said air into the combustion chambers. Along the way, it passes through an SRT-developed power chiller, which uses the AC's refrigerant to reduce air temps by up to 18 degrees. On the other end of the engine, they beefed up everything that carries the power to the rear wheels, added a production car first trans brake for nailing killer launches, and a line lock for simplifying burnouts. Now, with all that in mind, what you might not expect is that the drag strip, the Demon, is not that insane at all. And by that we mean doing 10-second quarter miles in a car properly set up for drag racing is similar to hitting a road course in a perfectly balanced race car. The Demon launches extremely hard, but if you hit it just right, all of the car's weight gets pushed to the rear, and it just hooks up and takes off, carrying all of that power down the track with no drama whatsoever. Sure, you can get some wheel spin if you want, but using drag mode with launch assist and torque reserve makes launching super simple. All Demons come equipped with the TorqueFlite 8HP 90 8-speed automatic transmission, which fired through gears without missing a beat, as we made passes continuously for an entire afternoon without a hiccup. So don't think of this as some one-off car just to do a couple of runs and get some crazy numbers for publicity. With temps in the 90s and high humidity, we couldn't quite match Dodge's NHRA certified run of 9.65, but we ran consistent low 10s and came real close to matching the claimed 2.3 seconds to 60. Other things that set the Demon apart from standard Hellcat fare are the air grabber hood and wide body styling that adds fender flares to fully cover the standard 315/40/18 Nitto drag radials. Wheels for those front skinnies are part of the $1 Demon crate option. Unique touches inside include a numbered Demon badge and Demon logo on the seats. A SpeedLogic 4-point harness is also an option, as is the front passenger seat, though Dodge will throw it back in for just $1 more. Even though every update has been made with drag racing in mind, it remains a very streetable car. And as a value-added bonus, due to the flexible sidewalls of the drag radials, ride quality is actually better than the Hellcat. Now, you would think that'd be enough SRT news for 1 year, but Dodge has got something else headed our way for 18. It's the Durango SRT. Believe it or not, it's the first time Dodge has applied the SRT treatment to this 3-row SUV. For power, it gets the 392 Hemi V8, which supplies 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. The all-wheel drive system, 8-speed automatic transmission, suspension, and 7-mode drive system all get upgraded to handle it. This Durango will hit 60 in 4.4 seconds and clear the quarter mile in less than 13. But even more impressive is that you lose none of the functionality that you buy an SUV for, as this Durango will tow 8,700 pounds. There's a body kit, of course, and plenty of interior treatments as well. The 2018 Dodge Durango SRT rolls out of showrooms for $64,090. But back to the Demon. For a turnkey 9-second drag car, base pricing of $86,090 doesn't seem that evil. That's less than what some of the original Hellcats were going for. 3,000 of them will be available here in the U.S. The 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon may be a hellishly fast car, but we say God bless the USA, as the forces of good and evil have combined to create one of the most amazing cars to ever lay down rubber on America's streets. While there's been a CB in the Honda motorcycle lineup seemingly nonstop since 1959, it was the 1969 CB750 that set the stage for what would become known as the Universal Japanese Motorcycle. 4-cylinder engine, big flat seat, chrome fenders, steel cradle frame, no frills, and all fun. Well, the guy having all that fun is our two-wheelin's Brian Robinson. So let's ride along and see how the CB tradition is going strong.
Styling trends may come and go, but one theme that always seems to be in play is retro, or a modern interpretation of someone else's design, unless, of course, the design was yours to begin with, much like this Honda CB1100 EX.
This is actually the second relaunch of the CB1100 here in America, as Honda first brought this retro-styled standard back to the US in 2013. But it turns out it was a little too retro and not modern enough to attract many buyers, so Honda stopped importing it just 2 years later. Well, now there's an updated 2017 CB1100 EX, and Honda hopes this one has the right mix of something old, something new. Now, some may not be fans of the mishmash of metals, blending painted, chromed, and polished pieces, but to me it helps it look period correct to what you would have seen in the 70s, more than a bike that just rolled out of a Honda showroom. And indeed, I did get quite a few compliments on my nice old bike from casual observers. If they would have looked closer to see the standard ABS brakes and cleverly disguised fuel injection, they would have realized that was not the case. Other modern considerations taking with this EX include a new 4.4-gallon fuel tank with a seamless design, an LED head, and taillights. But to make the flavor even more retro, 18-inch spoke wheels replace the previous CB1100's cast numbers. An inline 4 stretching across a cradle frame has been a CB hallmark since 1969. And here there's 1,140 cc's worth. It's air-cooled with a sizable oil cooler aiding the process. Twin mufflers are smaller than previous and have been retuned to allow a little more mid-range